Hi everybody, it's Andrea over at Sewspire.com. Today I am working out of my commercial studio and I'm going to teach you how to make a medium-sized zippered pouch. I featured this project on Instagram and there was a lot of interest, so we're going to go ahead and move forward with that this week. This project's going to require a 10-inch zipper, and I'll give you the project measurement pieces as we use them, and then if you go to Sewspire.com you can see a complete project roundup. So to make the zipper casing, you're going to need 2 pieces of fabric which measure 5 inches by 13 inches wide. You're going to fold those together, right sides facing, and then stitch down either end. And I am using a 3/8 of an inch seam allowance for the entire project. Get that iron heated up. Then you're going to flip this casing right side out and poke out the corners, and I'm going to head over to the iron and press this under a little less than a 1/2 inch. I have one here that I've already done, which you can see the edges just folded nice and tidy there, and then we're going to insert that zipper into that casing. Okay, now I have the second piece of that. I already stitched up the first piece, so I'm just going to take the zipper with the right side up and insert it into that casing. And I'll take a pin and hold that in place on either side. Do the same thing for the other side of the zipper. And then you're going to go over to the machine and stitch as close as possible to that zipper coil, and the easiest way to do that is to adjust the needle position to the left, and then you can get nice and tight. And if you need, as you pass by the zipper pull, just adjust that on either side. I'm going to repeat the same thing on the other side. I am reversing at the beginning and the end to reinforce that stitch. Zipper fully encased. And I'll just trim up those little extra threads at the end. And then we're going to make the interior first. For that, the base panel is 5 inches wide by 13 inches long. The front and rear panels, which you'll have 2 of, measure 9.5 inches tall by 13 inches wide. And the side panels measure 5 inches wide by 9.5 inches tall. So to begin, take one of the front or rear panels and position that on your table. Hope you can see that. And then you're going to lay the side panel, right side's facing, up against the edge of that. You can put a pin to keep it in place. Repeat the same thing with the other side panel. And then stitch down either side, reinforcing at the beginning and the end. And then for the other panel, you'll position the base at the base of that, and then stitch across the bottom. Oops, and I forgot to put my needle back to the center position, so I'm going to do that now so that my seam allowance is not off, because I am using a 3/8 of an inch seam allowance. To the rear interior panel. Set that aside for just a second, and I'll attach the sides to the front interior panel. Now you lay this piece with the sides open, flat, and take your other piece with the base and position that right on top, aligning the base with the base. And you're just going to stitch from one side seam to the other side seam across the base. And now you should have something that resembles a giant T. And what you need to do next is align this side with the side over here. So it's starting to take shape. Now I need to line up this other side with the side and stitch it in place. And now you can really get a feel for the interior. There we go. And we only have now got to stitch close the little hole in the bottom there, and I'm going to do that just by aligning the side and the side and stitching from thumb to thumb or seam to seam. And repeat that for the other side. And now our interior is complete, and that stays wrong side out, but you can see that it's completely sealed up in there. The only thing you need to do with it is just fold the outer edge over approximately an inch, and then we can set that aside while we assemble the exterior. Front panel, I stitched those three pieces already together, and I just need to assemble the rear panel. Same thing, I'm just putting the pretty sides together using a 3/8 of an inch seam allowance and stitching from end to end, reinforcing at both ends with a back stitch. right sides together, just align in the corners and stitching down the long end of that. And there we have the second exterior panel. And then for the sides, you should have 6 pieces, and you're going to stitch 3 of them together for each side using the same technique. Putting right sides together. Second side panel. I'd already stitched one together, and now we just have to stitch the base together. Same thing, the 3 pieces. And I featured the largest piece in the center, but it doesn't really make a difference. There you are, and then I'm just going to head over to the iron and press all the seams flat. For the exterior only, I'm going to use some quilt weight cotton batting, and I just want to position the appropriate, they're all the same cuts as the exterior, and I'm just going to layer the panels on top of that and smooth it out. We're going to use the exact same construction process as we did for the interior, attaching the sides to the front panel and the base to the rear panel, and then creating that T and adjoining the sides, and then closing up the little holes in the bottom. And then we'll have our exterior put together. Okay, so I'm going to put my base on there. And then my sides get attached to the other panel. And then, because this is the exterior, we're going to turn it right side out and just poke out those corners. And then we're going to fit the interior inside of this, but we want to do the same thing and fold this edge inward approximately 1/2 inch. And with the batting, sometimes it doesn't stay put, so you might have to fold as you go. So I'll fit this interior in there, and I would start at the sides and just align the side seams, and I'm just going to fold that over and start pinning. zippered top to that. So I've already fashioned the zipper. Just make sure that's working nice, and it is. And you're going to align the edges of the zipper with the side seams and just finagle those pins from the outside to the inside. But you know, it might even be easier. Don't worry about the exterior pins right now. Just pin that zipper in place from the inside, and then we can remove the exterior pins. See how that looks? And I'm going to do the same thing to the other side. And the edges of the zipper casing are aligned evenly with the side seams. Okay, so that's what that looks like there. And then you can just align your ends as well. The ends of the zipper with the sides of the bag. And this zipper is going to be totally enclosed so nothing falls out. I think this would make a really lovely cosmetic bag. So now all you have to do is pick if you want interior pins or exterior pins, and remedy that. I'm going to go ahead and go with all exterior pins so I can see where I'm sewing. Okay, now we're ready. We can unzip it, and the zipper's secure, and we're ready to put this on the machine deck and stitch all the way around the edge, and just go nice and slow, and as you go remove the pins, of course, and wherever you start you'll need to reinforce with a back stitch. Okay guys, we had the battery die there as I was going around, so I hope that you made it around without any problems. Just have to trim up the threads on the end here. And what I want to say that I said before, while I thought I was recording, I didn't. If you're having trouble going around the exterior of this, sew from the inside, or the top rather, of the zipper. That's a lot easier, especially when you get to the sides here. And another option is to take out those pins that were holding the side and attach the sides at the very end, so you have a little bit of leeway there. But I think probably the easiest way to sew this zipper on is going to be by unzipping it and then putting the piece on the deck face up and moving all the way around like that. And so I demonstrated that, and sadly I didn't have enough battery. My apologies. I'll make certain that I have enough next time. But this project turned out adorable, and I'm very thrilled with it, and I'm keeping this little beauty. I think this is great for travel, and I have some fun trips planned coming up that I'm going to definitely be putting it to good use. So the finished measurements on this piece are approximately 12 inches in length by let's see what we got there, 7 inches tall by 4 inches wide. It's totally machine washable. I'll put a link to my favorite zipper source on the blog so you can find these cute zippers. They come in so many different colors. Please let me know how you like the project. I'd love to see photos of your finished project, and I'll be back next week with another surprise sewing project. Take care.